Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn how to configure users, addresses, and stations in Inform Voice. In order to do so, first we are going to run the Inform Voice administrator from our Windows computer, either workstation or server. We will go to the Start menu and we will find IFV administrator here. We will be asked for the administrator's name and passwords. Remember, those are the ones of the support account we used to install the Ubuntu desktop before installing Inform Voice. And we keep this remember me checkbox checked in order for the administrator to remember the credentials, and we just press OK to log in. Okay, so um, if you think about maybe more traditional telephone systems, um, those are based on the station or extension number. Most of the properties are related to that number. Inform Voice works differently. Inform Voice separates the concept of address, the concept of user, and the concept of station. For example, a user can have more than one address, also called extension. An address, an extension, can have several devices associated to it. Or a device, a station, can respond to different extension numbers and ring when each of those are called. So this separation allows us to define the properties um, according to the specific item and not in just one place. And as you will see here, when we do the assignment, it all makes sense. So the process of assigning the users' addresses and stations uh, starts generally with the user. This is the best way to do it, although you can apply any order, but you will see that starting with the user makes things much more simpler. So we will go first to a users tab we have in the system where all the users are stored or are displayed. Um, the first user is the actual admin user, which needs to be here, but we won't worry about it. So we will add a new user to the system. So we will click on this add button here, and we will present it with this dialog box. We will add our first user. So we will put the first name, let's say Nancy, and a last name said master. The user logon is filled automatically with this pattern, but I don't like it, so I will use more like the pattern I'm used to with the first letter of the first name and the last name. Okay, so I created my first user. Let's see what properties that user has. Um, the first one is this parameter called user-centric. I will uncheck this user-centric for now because we will explain user-centric functionality in another video. So for now, we will keep it unchecked. Here we have a class of service for the user. So we can select, for example, employees for this user. We have a password here. That password is blank for now, and it will be used when this user client on PC. So right now we are more focused on terminals, but we will add a password, a default password, let's say, for the user to change it later when he accessed the QC client for the first time. Mm. There is a password for phone access, is used in different applications like authorization code, um, but for now we won't worry much about it. Mm. We have an options tab where we can select the zone. So let's keep Chicago as its own. It also, I can use also telephony areas related to the to the user. So we will keep it with the one we have. Mm. But the first thing we need to do besides entering that password and unchecking the user centric is adding an address. We need to give them a number. The user can't exist without a number. So we will add an address. So we will go to the address tab here in the dialog box. We click add address. And as you will see, there is no address defined in the system right now. So I will create a new address, but here it's named extension, so don't get confused, but addresses and extensions are basically the same concept for at this time. So it will open another box. So, but here I'm just interested in giving the user a number. I will give him 1001. For now, we will keep it a single line, the hunt order a single line, and we can select the zone for this address or extension. So we will keep it as Chicago because we are assigning that Chicago. And that's it for now. We don't have any other thing to assign. At this point, we will click here on this 1001 because we just assigned the extension. Now we have to assign relate the extension to the user. So we click here, we click OK, and here it shows. At this point, I can click OK. As I change the user from user-centric to non-user-centric, I get this warning. Don't worry about it. It will also has another warning about something that we didn't explain much. Web services password do not match. All right, because I forgot to verify the password. Okay, now we created the user, and actually we also created its extension. If we look at the number plan tab, you will see here a 1001 assigned to Nancy Masters. If we open it up, remember we didn't put any uh, first name or last name when we created the extension. It took the information from the user we created and it filled it in. Okay, now it's time to assign a device for this user Nancy Master. So let's go to the Station tab. And at this point, I will click on the down arrow to the right of this plus sign because we have different selections here depending on the brand and model of phone we are going to use. So let's start with a Grandstream zip phone for this first example. We need to tell the system the MAC address of this phone because the system recognizes the MAC address when the terminal sends messages to the phone system. So it relates, it assigns the properties that we define in those screens to that particular device. So I will use made up MAC addresses for this example. So this is a MAC address I came up with. Mm, The first one. I need to add an extension number to the device. So I will assign the extension that I just created. I click the add button. I can, if I know the number, I can input it manually. And I can select a phone type within different phone types that the system already knows about this brand. But I will keep it this way. It takes a little bit to create all the table entries. So don't don't worry about it. The screen will change in a second. And here you have, these are the properties of the station. Certain information was pre-filled based on the user and the extension information. We have the zone we can change. We have the telephony area for the station we can change. We have the profile, the class of service. I will change the class of service to employees as I did with the users. There is a slight difference between the class of service of the station and of the user, but it's related to a specific service, so we will keep that for another video. What I'm interested in assigning here for the station is one item that we normally change is on the network tab. If you can see this hub number is a sequential number that the system creates whenever a new device is created, but it's better to change this number and use the extension number that we are assigning. So in the list here under stations, instead of reading hub 3, we will read hub 1001 and we'll know that this device belongs to the extension 1001. That's more for us than for the system. The system doesn't care. At this, in this tab, we can choose the LAN. Remember the LAN environment? So this will select a different office. So here we are assigning Chicago, so we will leave it there. The next tab is the users right tab. This is a soft switch, and soft switches follow more the IT lingo than the telephony lingo. So IT people are used to the word or the concept of rights. So we need to add rights to this device. So the user, a specific user, has a specific right to this device. So I want the user Mansi Master to have full access to its own station. Okay, so this is why I added the user and automatically it gives full access. And finally, I need to tell the terminal where to connect to. This is a SIP terminal, needs to know where the SIP server is. There are several ways to define the SIP server, and the easiest way is with either an IP address, which I don't recommend. For soft switches, I prefer to use names, or a name, as I said. So there are different ways to define a name, and the easiest way is to use an A record. The A record means that for a name there is just one specific IP address for it. So I will put here the name of the info voice server. Remember, we have to use the FQDN. There is a place in which I can put a voicemail address. We don't have anything, but uh, normally phones have um, a button to call the voicemail, so this is automatically set here. Mm. Uh, and for now, that's all the information that we need. Mm. There is just one more that I can mention, which is in the network tab here. I forgot to mention when I was here, which is I can override the codec. Remember the codecs that we defined originally um, for selecting if we are going to use high bandwidth or low bandwidth codec. I can override the codec and use the one I decide. Okay, so I hit OK. And it will ask me to reboot the phone because the phone now needs to grab a bunch of configuration files that were created on the provisioning server, which is InformVoice itself. So when the phone reboots, it will read all those configuration files, it will configure itself with those, and it will connect to the InformVoice, it will register. This obviously won't happen with a made up MAC address that I assign, but this would be the regular approach. Just for you to see how this process works, I will do it again for another user, and I will work faster now, but so you will see the sequence how it's done. So in this case, I will go back to the users and I will add a user for the office in Orlando. So let's use Betty Williams. Oops. Williams. And I will change it to B. Williams. I will set a default password for the user. I will change the profile. Let's put employees again. I will uncheck the user centrics box. I will give it an address. So I will add the address. The address, there is no address to be assigned to this user. So all of them are taken. I understand that because I see that a number here was assigned to a name, and I can see that's already assigned to a station. So I need to create a new extension. I will give it a number for Orlando, and now I will change the zone to Orlando. I will select it. Then we go to options and we will change the zone to Orlando and this telephony area to Orlando, and that would be it. I'm getting those warnings. That's fine. You will see the user here. You will see a numbering plan now with a 2001. So now we will create a station for it. So in this case, I will create an NECDT station. NECDT has several models. I will use the latest one. No, I will use 101. I will add the user Betty Williams, and I can define a type of phone. I like this one. Oh no, I would like like a 920 here. Okay. Okay, so I will change the zone. The zone is set to Orlando because um, I already assigned the extension to Orlando, so it pre-assigned the zone here. I will change the telephony area to Orlando. I will give it the default CO class of service. I will change it to employees. Mm. On the network tab, I will give it a new hub number. On the user rights, I will add the user and give full rights to the station. And you will see there are a little more tabs than with a grant stream, but in the case of the NEC tab, we will basically have to assign the way for the phone to register. I will change this to UDP only. I will give it a name. I need to give it a port number to connect, which is 5060. We can give them the voicemail address. And just a little difference between a ground stream phone and an NEC phone. The NEC phone, as well as the Polycom phones, have a web browser, a mini web browser on the phone itself. And Inform Voice can take advantage of that. So in that case, we need to enter certain URLs for the phone to connect to. So I will I will show you how to assign the URLs right now, and we can do it in bulk for all the NEC phones in the system. We also have for this particular phone, we can select a license for certain features that the phone has. And in this case, the phone has programmable keys, which I can handle directly from this interface. We are not going to do it right now, but those are the differences between types and models of phones. So, of course, it will ask me to reboot. Now, if I want to take care of that URL for all those phones, actually the Polycom as well, I can go to the General tab. I can go to the system properties. I can go to a tab called IP phones, and I will pre-fill the information in this field. And I will update all the phones that are already created. Ask me to reboot. Okay, so now system settings require outside, that's fine. It still warns me about things that I didn't assign in the past. So if you go back to the station and I go to Nancy Master as a station here, you will see that now, oops, sorry, I need to go to Betty Williams. And if you see, now the NEC tab is filled with the information it needed. So we assigned a couple of users, a couple of addresses, and a couple of stations in the system. So now we are ready to assign more, and we can do it manually or through import. But this is a subject for another video. So with this, I thank you and see you on the next one.